It was a beautiful autumn day, and the leaves on the trees were changing colors from green to red, yellow, and orange. The sun was shining brightly, and a gentle breeze was blowing through the park. It was the perfect day for a stroll through the park. Mary, a young college student, decided to take advantage of the beautiful weather and take a walk through the park. She put on her favorite sweater and headed out. The park was relatively empty, and Mary was enjoying the peacefulness of her surroundings. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around, but no one was there. She shrugged it off and continued on her way. As she walked further into the park, she noticed that the footsteps were getting closer. She turned around again, but still, no one was there. She picked up her pace, feeling uneasy. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her from behind, and she let out a blood-curdling scream. Mary struggled to break free, but the grip on her was too tight. She turned around and came face to face with a man wearing a hood and a mask. His eyes were cold and emotionless. Mary knew that she was in trouble. The man pushed Mary to the ground and pulled out a knife. She tried to fight back, but he was too strong. The man began to stab her repeatedly, and Mary could feel her life slipping away. She knew that she was going to die. Just then, a group of joggers came running by. The killer panicked and ran away. The joggers quickly called the police, and Mary was rushed to the hospital. She had been stabbed multiple times and was in critical condition. The police launched a massive manhunt for the killer, but he seemed to have vanished without a trace. The park was closed down, and the investigation continued for weeks. But there were no leads, and the killer was never found. Mary survived the attack but was left traumatized by the experience. She was no longer able to walk through the park alone and would often have nightmares about the attack. The killer remained at large, and the people in the community lived in fear. Months went by, and the case had gone cold. It seemed like the killer had gotten away with murder. But then, one day, a jogger stumbled upon a clue. They found a piece of fabric that matched the description of the killer's clothing. The police immediately began to investigate the lead and were able to track down the killer. It turned out that he was a deranged man who had been stalking Mary for weeks before the attack. He had been living in the park, and no one had noticed. The killer was arrested and sentenced to life in prison for his crimes. The park was reopened, and the community was able to breathe a sigh of relief. But Mary never fully recovered from the attack. She was left with physical and emotional scars that would never fully heal. The killer in the park had left a lasting impact on the community. It was a reminder that even in the most peaceful of places, danger could be lurking around every corner.